All right, let's start.
So as people are still coming in, and Orlando, I can be heard okay?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Orlando, for doing this. As we always should, we start with, and let's talk about what's going on. Shir Malot, Esaina Leharim, Me'an Yavo Ezri, Ezri Me'im Hashem, Ose Shamayim Ve'aretz, Aiten Lamot Raglecha, Al Yanu Shomrecha, Hine Lo Yanu V'lo Yishan Shomer Yisrael, Shem Shomrecha, Shem Silcha, Al Yad Yaminecha, Yom HaShemesh Lo Yakeka, Ve'areach Laila, Shem Yishmorecha Mikol Ra, Yishmor et Nofshecha, Hashem Yishmor Tzecha Uvoyecha, Me'ata Ve'adolam, Me'ata Ve'adolam. A Psalm of David, I will lift up my eyes into the mountains. From where does my help come? My help comes from God who is creating, not created, but creating the heavens and the earth. God shall not suffer your foot to slip. The one that keeps you will not slumber. Behold, the one that keeps Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. God is your keeper. God is your shade upon your right hand. The sun shall no longer smite you by day, nor the moon by night. God shall keep you from all evil, and shall keep your soul. God shall guard your coming and your going, now and forever. So it just seemed to make sense to do this very brief Zoom call. We will have services. We have services Saturday morning. We will also have services tomorrow night at 7:30. We'll be praying for Israel a little bit more about what's going on because the next 24 hours will be intense. Here's what happened. At around 3 o'clock in the morning, Israel time, sirens went off in Israel. And it was to get everyone in the shelters before Israel attacked Iran. They attacked at around 3:30 in the morning, roughly 5:30 in the evening our time. It was a coordinated attack. The United States didn't know about it, but it's not participating in it as of right now. The United States has been very clear that if anything attacks, if there's any attack on an American base or American soldiers, they will get involved. But as of right now, they are not. Israel, just calling this Operation Lion's Courage, is they sent fighter jets, mostly been through the Israeli Air Force, thank God, and they went deep into Iran, attacking nuclear facilities, the homes and meeting places of Iranian leadership. Much, if not most, of Iranian's political leadership and religious leadership has been killed. Khomeini is still alive as of this point, at least that's what Iran is saying. There have been all sorts of statements being made on all sides. We are in the midst of the fog of war, so no one really knows exactly what's going on, and we're only talking a few hours. But what is clear is that this has been a serious preemptive attack. Israel had identified, along with the International Atomic Energy Agency, that Iran was within days of having nuclear weapons if they don't already, and they might already have some primitive nuclear weapons. We don't know how many missiles they have, how many rockets they have, how many hundreds or thousands, God forbid, of drones they have. They are promising to retaliate severely. They are doing their saber rattling, which they always do, and they are. We can expect that there will be an attack within the next hours. That will be attack on Israel. Iran is claiming it will be attack on Israel and the United States, but the reality is we know that it will be at least on Israel. We suspect that. People in Israel are huddled in shelters right now. This comes after a coordinated call between Netanyahu and Trump. There has been a lot of discussion about how deeply Assad had infiltrated into Iran. There have been all these attacks, at least at some of the nuclear facilities, some launching and air defense programs, and the surface-to-surface missiles, the way they're launched from Iran, have been attacked and taken out as well. But we really don't know how much Iran does or does not have. And it's whether it's Minister Katz, Netanyahu, whoever may be in the Israeli government, they are being very clear that they're expecting a retaliation like Israel has never seen. They're expecting it not just from Iran, but from Iraq, Yemen, parts of Syria, and Lebanon. This is an existential threat to Israel's existence as Iran has been getting closer and closer. If you've been reading the daily emails that I write at 3 o'clock in the morning, you know a lot about this already, and it has been building. It is a time that we need to pray for Israel, for the safety of the people of Israel, the land of Israel, the state of Israel. And there are a lot of other ripples that are going to happen as a result of this attack. We won't know exactly what the retaliation is until it happens, and we can only pray. There will be incidents. You can be guaranteed there will be incidents this Saturday. Again, I don't care about anyone's politics. I really don't. My politics are pro-Israel, period. Trump is doing a Flag Day celebration, and there are at least over 1,000 demonstrations that have been coordinated around the country that are called No King demonstrations. These have been planned in conjunction with the anti-ICE demonstrations that have been going on, the riots that have been going on. And if you've looked at the pictures of a lot of these anti-ICE demonstrations, it's not just about immigration. There are a tremendous amount of Palestinian flags at these demonstrations. So they have been coordinating with that. We can expect that there will be a lot of incidents on Saturday. I want to suggest to people to stay away from anywhere where there might be a demonstration. It's very likely will get violent, so stay away from it. There's just no reason to go to any of these things. So that's kind of where we are. We will know more in the coming hours. There has been a tremendous amount of damage done to Iran. It is an interesting time that this has happened. The date of 613, which is what it is in Israel, there's 613 commandments in the Torah. In this week's Torah portion, Balatacha, it actually says a line that we included in the email that went out to everybody about this Zoom call, that God will redeem us from evil and from our enemies who try to oppress us. So it had to happen at some point, and Israel determined a joint cabinet meeting by Monday night that it was going to happen now. They determined it based on the fact of how close Iran is to having nuclear capabilities, and that's something we can't allow. And the reason we can't is because while we worship life, we live by the words of the Torah. We're supposed to live by Torah, not die by Torah. Their tradition is worshiping death. And we need to understand that we are not fighting an enemy that has the same value system as we do. They are not as concerned with issues of peace and prosperity for their children and their grandchildren. They worship death, and we can expect a lot of attacks coming in as a result of this. So it's basically where we are. There is a lot of hope in this. This was going to have to happen at some point. So the fact that it's happened now is actually a blessing, as opposed to waiting until they did have nuclear weapons. And that's kind of where we're at. There is no way to know for sure what's going to happen, other than there will be retaliation. And if they attack a U.S. base, then the United States will get involved in this, and it could escalate very quickly. So that's kind of where we are. An email will go out again, like it does every night in the middle of the night or in the morning, with more updates. We'll talk about it at services tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Are there any? And Orlando, you're going to have to translate the questions for me. Are there any specific questions that if I can answer, I will?
Yeah, if you have any questions, just chime it out in the chat, and I will ask you to unmute.
It may be my connection. Is that a little bit better? I'll speak louder. Is that better, Meryl? Because I have a very soft, demure voice. Are there any questions, Orlando?
How long? What are the chances for regime change in Iran as a result of this?
That's one of the goals in this. One of the goals is not to just make Iran into a parking lot right now. One of the goals is to get rid of this regime. There are apparently there's a large portion of the Iranian populace who want to get back to a productive Iran and not one run by Khomeini and the clerics. So that is absolutely one of the goals. In the same way that Israel is now supporting Gazans who are anti-Hamas, we can assume that that Israel will also support the Iranian populace who want to overthrow the current regime.
All right. FYI, there are reports that citizens are out on the streets of Iran.
So one of the things that I've learned over the last 18, whatever many months since October, is there's a lot of stuff on social media, and a portion of it's true and a portion of it's not. So when you send the daily email, they're not based on things in social media because it's too easy. People say whatever they want to say. There's no filtration system. The information I get is from a couple of different WhatsApp groups, a couple of different news sites, some groups that I'm involved in with people who are Israeli bureaucrats. That's where I got the information from. So, as well as Ynet, which is an amazing source, and I recommend to people if you want a lot of the information I get will go from there because they're very clear. Other questions?
No, at the moment.
Okay. So I wanted to make this brief, but just also connect and remind people of something. I've been saying this now for a number of weeks. Israel and Judaism is under a threat truly a threat to our existence, unlike anything any of us have seen in our lifetimes, and arguably greater than the Holocaust, even World War II, because World War II was not fought over the Jews. That's what Germany wanted to destroy us, but that was not why the Allies got involved. And this is a worldwide threat on Judaism. There are going to be demonstrations against Israel. Already about a half an hour ago, the chief of the UN, Guterres, made a comment of condemning Israel already for escalating military action against Iran. The International Atomic Energy Agency is now carefully watching at least one of the reactors or one of the nuclear facilities inside Iran. They've got people that they're sending over there to kind of watch and see what's going on with radiation. The world is going to condemn us for this. And we need to be honest about that. And we're going to see that in Europe. We're going to see that not just in the Middle East. We're going to see that a lot in the media. And we're going to see it locally. This will play into the anti-Semitic trope of, oh, look, the Jews are again trying to conquer the world and they're warmongers, etc. This was done as a preemptive attack because if we waited even a couple more days, it was pretty clear that Israel would be attacked with nuclear weapons from Iran. And they don't care. One of the things everyone needs to remember is that during the whole Cold War, what stopped any attacks was the idea of mutually assured destruction. We don't want that. We worship life. They don't care. That is not what the Quran and the Hadiths teach. They don't care about mutually assured destruction. They get bonus points for that. So we need to understand that's who the enemy is. I have said since October 7th, this is Amalek. Amalek is not meant to be defeated. It is meant to be destroyed. And that's what needs to be done. It's sad. It's painful. There will be a lot of loss of life and everything else. But this needed to happen or there would be no Israel, God forbid. Other questions?
Yeah, hold on one second.
And I will address for people who are going to Israel, who are planning on going to Israel in July, one of two things is going to happen. Either our trip will be postponed because we will be in war, airspace is closed, etc. Or Israel's going to be safer than it's been in the last 2 years, which could still be wonderful to go. This will be determined before July because the athletes from Maccabi are going over on July 1st. So if they can't get over July 1st, Maccabi won't happen. Our trip will be postponed, and it'll all be worked out in some way. But we won't know again. We're still in the fog of war. immediately by around 6:30 our time, 6:30 p.m., Israel was saying this is going to take 2 days. By 7 o'clock, they were saying this is going to take at least 2 weeks. They've made the comment that we've accomplished more in 10 minutes against the Iranian leadership. It took us 10 days to do the same against Hezbollah's leadership. So this is going to move very quickly. There's going to be a lot of changes. The key is to stay together. The key is to stay together as Jewish communities. What I was going to say is that for 2,000 years, what kept Jews alive under persecution was the synagogue, and everyone on the Zoom call, everyone who is that encourage every Jew to be part of a synagogue, encourage every Christian to be part of their church. That is literally what will keep us sustained in this really, really dark and challenging time. Other questions, Orlando?
Will the Arab countries like Saudi Arabia, UAE, etc., secretly help Israel against Iran?
It's a good question. It was announced at around 8:30 our time, so that's 6:30 in the morning, Middle Eastern time. An announcement came from Qatar, from Oman, that they are not supportive of this. They are very upset that Israel has attacked Iran, etc. So that came out of Qatar. There's no way to know where they're going to stand and where they're not going to stand. On the one hand, they're all Muslims, and so they support each other. On the other hand, Iran is the bully of the region, and no one really likes them, and they cause a lot of problems. And yet, on the other hand, again, they're also this huge supplier of oil. So I think that a lot of the countries like the UAE would like to see Iran not being run by clerics, not being the way they are, having the regime they have. But at the same time, they're their Muslim brothers. So we need to recognize that as well. You're going to see a lot of demonstrations and probably violence, especially on Saturday, from people who are affiliated with Muslim Brotherhood, Hamas, whatever it may be, who are supportive of that. You see a lot of pressure coming from that side, saying, why is the United States even involved in defending Israel? Why do we care? And we do care because it's not a war against Israel, it's a war against Western civilization. Israel's the line of defense, so to speak. Other questions?
Yes. One of our political parties is already criticizing Israel. As Jews, what would you advise?
So rather than talking about a political party, I think the answer is every politician, every candidate's question is, where do you stand on Israel? And do you support this? There is a clear hatred for Israel coming from both the left and the right, on different sides and in different ways. And we need to make sure that we support politicians and candidates and vote for them who are pro-Israel, and those who are not, we vote out of office. And I don't care what party you are part of. And there is a whole world on the right that is anti-Israel and a whole world on the left that is anti-Israel. And remember that whenever there are problems, historically, the Jews get blamed anyhow. So we need to be aware of that. And again, that's why we need to tie together in Jewish communities. That's why we must stand together and support each other in every way possible. I'm always reachable. Orlando's always reachable. The temple's always reachable. As I said, we're having Saturday morning service, so we're going to have a service tomorrow night. We'll have a service and discussion about this tomorrow night at 7:30 at the sanctuary as well. But we need to really encourage every Jew to be part of a Jewish community, not a Jewish intellectual community or artistic community, but a synagogue. That is what has kept us alive for 2,000 years. Everyone you know, I don't care if it's Chabad, if it's us, if it's Temple Sinai, if it's Ikar, if it's Temple of the Arts, whatever temple, Jews need to be involved in Jewish community because we are targets in a big, big way. Other questions?
Yes. Do you know what security is being in place around our communities from Woodland Hills to Westlake Village and beyond?
So in Los Angeles County, we're pretty much left to our own, although the Calabasas police are terrific. The captain there, Captain C2, is fabulous. Sean Wax, who is a detective there, watches out for our community if you're around the Agoura, Calabasas area. In Westlake and in Ventura County, we're actually extremely protected. I got a text message from Chief Jeremy Harris that he is sending out extra patrols to all Jewish homes and facilities that he knows about. So they are very much on top of it. In Ventura County, Los Angeles County, they're really not. We have great police in Calabasas, but Los Angeles has its own issues, especially with the recent riots that are going on. Other ones, Orlando?
No, not right now.
Okay, so I wanted to make this brief. I know it's late for a lot of people. I know there are people on other that are joining us from not in California, but they're in other areas. One of the things is reach out to each other. And you can always reach out to me, reach out to Orlando, you can reach out to the temple, you can email events at Ner Simcha, you can email Rabbi at Ner Simcha, you can email my personal email, rabbibarclay@aol.com. You can call us, whatever you need to do. And if it's quick, please don't bother calling the temple phone because we don't always get those messages immediately. But email is very quick, texting, and we'll get responses back. Key is to stay together, to be conscious of each other, and to be conscious of the world we live in. We should not be scared. There's no reason to be. God is our protection. It's not the Iron Dome. It's God. And God has always kept his covenant and always will. Again, I don't believe in coincidence. Coincidence is God's way of staying anonymous. And it happened on 6/13. It's happening when the Torah portion actually specifically says, and it was in that email quote, but specifically says that God will protect us from our enemies in every way. So it's really important. Are there any other questions, Orlando?
Yes, it's about how can people access our recording. We will send this recording in an email
Yes.
later
Yeah.
on.
Absolutely. And we'll probably start getting more active in Instagram, so that people can reach us through that as well. That's just something I don't have to do. We're both so busy; it's kind of hard. But this will be accessible, and phones work. And reach out to each other. You know, when two or more people come together in prayer, it's so powerful. And when 10 or more come together, that's what a minyan is. When 10 or more come together and they open their hearts in full prayer, it changes the universe, it changes the world. You may think that you're doing just a little bit, but Rabbi Nachman would teach that if you had a light that came from your finger and went a million miles, even if you only moved your finger a 32nd of an inch, 16th of an inch, in the distance, it makes a huge difference. In the same way, your prayers, your actions make a difference. When you give tzedakah, it makes a difference in the universe. When you choose to say, I'm going to support Israel, because you know what? I'm not going to eat treif anymore. It actually helps and strengthens Israel and the Jewish people. When you give tzedakah to a Jewish institution or just someone on the street, it helps and strengthens Israel and the Jewish people. Our actions make a difference. Our faith and our prayers, they do make a difference. Rabbi Heschel taught that either prayer means everything or it means nothing. And I can tell you with 100% certainty, it means everything. So we need to allow ourselves to gather together. And that doesn't mean just coming to temple. You can gather with a friend and have a coffee, and at the end of the coffee say, hey, can we just say a prayer for Israel? This is how we can make a marked difference in what's going on right now where we are. Another thing that can be done, Orlando, will you please send out in an email the link to the Golf-a-thon for B'nai Zion Hospital, the hospital that we've supported and helped raise over $700,000 for since October 7th. They're going to need they're expecting a lot of wounded and a lot of damage. So you can support the hospital through this one event. Orlando will put that in a link. Support our temple, support other temples. Make a difference. And when you give the charity, give it with a prayer. Don't just say, oh, here's money. Rather, giving this, and inside yourself, you don't have to say it to anyone else, but inside yourself, say, I'm giving this so that Israel stays safe. I'm giving this so that our people stay protected. I'm giving this so that Jews can be Jewish and be safe. It's really important, and I cannot convey that enough. Any other questions, Orlando?
No, that's all.
Okay.
Thank you for the update.
I just want to end this then with one prayer, because that's what we do. You can reach out to me. You can reach out to Orlando. You can reach out to the temple. We'll end up seeing things. You can call me. My phone is available 24/7. As most of you know, I don't really get much sleep. And so you can call me if you're flipping out at 3 in the morning. doesn't really matter. So, Ribono Shalom, Master of the Universe, please may you and your presence, the Ruach HaKodesh, for the Shekhinah, bless our people. May you cast a net of protection, a dome of protection over the people of Israel, the land of Israel, the state of Israel. May you keep Israel safe. May you defeat our enemies as graciously as can be done. May you defeat our enemies in a way that keeps us safe and as little collateral damage as possible, and yet removes the evil Amalek from the world as we are commanded to destroy Amalek. God, please, please keep Israel safe, keep the world safe. Remember your covenant for the sake of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, for the sake of Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, for the sake of all of those who've gone before us. Please remember your covenant. Hashem, please, we beg you and plead for you, please. Keep the land of Israel, the state of Israel, people of Israel, both in Israel and around the world. Keep them safe, healthy, protected, and may you end this conflict in a good way that keeps us safe. May you end it quickly, so we move forward to a time of peace, a time when again we can celebrate the milk and honey of the land. Together we say, Amen.
Amen.
Thank you everyone for coming. You can reach out to me, reach out to Orlando. Whatever you need, we're here. And that's a 24/7. We have services tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. It'll be a different type of service. We'll talk about Israel, we'll pray for Israel. A lot will happen between now and tomorrow. And then again, Saturday morning, we will have our Saturday morning study for a service. And it's a potluck. So bring non-meat, bring part or dairy. And let us celebrate life together, because as Jews, that's what we do. We celebrate life. We celebrate Am Yisrael Chai, the people of Israel will always live. And we celebrate it all with Chazak, Baruch. May we all be strong and be blessed. Thank you all. And I hope to see you tomorrow night, Saturday. And again, if you need anything at any time, day or night, call. Thank you so much.